In Godzilla x Kong, did Godzilla just absorb Tiamat's energy, or is there something much stranger going on? Most of Godzilla's time throughout the New Empire was committed to seeing him drift across the planet in search of different sources of energy, leveling up to prepare for his rematch with none other than the ancient titan Shimo. In the novelization, this is very much the same, as we see Dr. Hampton tracking Godzilla across Europe as he continues to amass more and more energy, except in the novel, we get some more in-depth explanation on exactly what Godzilla is doing. One such explanation revolves around Dr. Hampton's peculiar readings after Godzilla kills Tiamat. This seems to indicate that Godzilla isn't simply absorbing Tiamat's energy, but instead is copying it and integrating her DNA into his own genetic material and makeup. And today, let's explore the novel's claims that Godzilla has spliced Tiamat's DNA with his own, and not just what this actually means for Godzilla's future abilities, but how this transformation was far more dangerous than any of his previous forms, as confirmed by the novel. After Godzilla killed Tiamat, he spent hours residing in her lair, and it didn't take Monarch's team long in order to deduce that he was absorbing everything within the hideout, not just the energy within Tiamat's body. Normally, this would make perfect sense. Godzilla had siphoned radiation out of various nuclear plants across the world already, so this shouldn't have been any different. Dr. Hampton, though, states that the energy signature she was receiving looked very strange, because Godzilla's energy profile was still present, but Tiamat's was getting stronger. Typically when Godzilla absorbs energy, whether it's from an atomic bomb, a nuclear power plant, or something else, Godzilla just collects the energy and stores it for later use. But in this scenario, Godzilla is actively amplifying the energy around him, producing more energy than he started out with. One of the first lessons that anyone in physics class is taught is that energy cannot be created or destroyed, only changed and altered into different states, which leaves us to wonder just how Godzilla is able to create more energy by using the genetic makeup of Tiamat. Dr. Hampton even addresses this idea as she goes into her explanation of the mythological Tiamat, from which the Titan is named. According to the original Babylonian myth, Tiamat was the dragon goddess and the mother of all monsters, but eventually her children turned on her. They cut her into pieces, used her ribs to hold up the sky, and her tears to form the rivers of the earth. Piece by piece, they created the world, and Dr. Hampton uses this to frame her next question. What is Godzilla creating out of Tiamat's body? She believes that he took a part of Tiamat's genetic code, which could be very important in the future. For what we know of the first time, Godzilla seems to have stolen DNA and figured out a way to write it into his own genome, which is something we have never seen this version of Godzilla do before. Now we know that he can steal the DNA of other titans and mimic their abilities as a result by taking the traits that he finds most admirable, which leaves us to wonder just how far this new ability can take him. He didn't take Tiamat's energy. He took Tiamat's ability to harness and produce this particular type of energy and used it for his own gain, which might mean that this new pink form could be permanent. It also explains how he was able to seemingly create energy out of thin air despite the laws of physics actively working against him. Years ago, Dr. Serizawa himself talked about the nature of the Titans back when humanity was first being introduced to them, and he describes how the surface of the Earth used to be far more radioactive than it is today. As these levels of radiation died out though, several of the Titans burrowed into the Earth in order to find more energy, since the surface world was no longer meeting their needs. Tiamat, however, was much more sensitive to the energy signatures that surrounded her, taking in latent heat, light, and even geothermal energy in order to produce her own bioelectricity. Unlike the rest of the Titans, it's possible that she never needed to venture into the Hollow Earth because the surface is still radioactive enough for her in order to generate enough power to sustain her life. If this is the case, then Godzilla himself will naturally begin producing energy to the same degree that Tiamat was once able to, who is one of the most radioactive Titans on the planet. Or rather, was one of the most radioactive Titans on the planet. Her ability to channel energy is second to none, even Godzilla, who is not capable of absorbing and harnessing energy to this magnitude, and with this level of efficiency. At least not until now. The electrical storms that Tiamat generated and the pulses of energy that she generates can be seen from space, and when she's in a heightened state, the ocean around her boils as a result of her presence. If this theory is correct, then these incredible powers are a result of her ability to siphon energy out of the atmosphere around her to a much more sensitive degree than other Titans can. And now, Godzilla has this power too. So is it possible that from here on out, Godzilla may not need to feed on atomic bombs and nuclear power plants? It is conceivable that never again will he need any sort of artificial boost since Tiamat's power has been spliced into his own DNA. The government and Monarch may not have to bail him out anymore by loaning him a stray atomic weapon, since Godzilla will be able to replenish his reserves regularly. This also leaves us to wonder if Godzilla may begin to do this with other titans that have particular traits that he finds admirable and that he wants to claim for himself. If perhaps there is a particular titan that has a much stronger regenerative healing factor, could he kill this titan and do the same thing in order to allow him to develop a much quicker regeneration rate? Is it even possible that this could apply even some of the most powerful titans known to Earth? If Godzilla is able to steal Tiamat's ability to generate her own energy, then who is to say that he couldn't also steal Shimo's frost powers if he ever thought that she was too dangerous or even wanted this ability? All of these instances are of course speculative, but now that the door is open, it's imperative that we explore what may lie on the other side. Right now it only seems like Godzilla is able to take powers that his body can handle, so killing something with wings wouldn't automatically let him grow wings, for example. But right now, we do not know what the upper limits of these powers are. The Art of Shin Godzilla art book hinted at a version of Godzilla who was able to grow and divide his cells into smaller forms, and we know that samples of his cells in conjunction with other sources of energy have grown and mutated into the likes of Biollante, Space Godzilla, and several other massive threats from Toho. So we simply don't know what Godzilla's upper limits are right now. Not only has Godzilla achieved his strongest form yet though, but he has unlocked the key to exponential growth, and can conceivably evolve even faster than he ever has before. But exactly what this may mean for the future of the character remains to be seen. But anyway, my friends, what do you think of this claim that Godzilla can now absorb and adapt DNA into his own, and what he really did with Tiamat and her power? What does this mean for the future battles of Godzilla, and will he be able to claim more traits and abilities from the titans that he defeats? If this is just the beginning of a new power scaling, if so, just how powerful can Godzilla really get? As always, my friends and heralds of the titans, atomic blast that subscribe button for more kaiju lore, and have a great day.